Hello, how are you guys? Today I hope I can do the live stream and you can hear me well because my neighbors are having a party and it's very loud out there with the music and they're screaming and everything. But yeah, I hope it doesn't show that much. How are you guys? We can hear perfectly. Okay. Yeah, I would hope that you don't hear them that much, so I will have to be louder than them. Oh. This is the new oracle, this tiny one that I recently bought from a colleague, from an Argentinian creator. She made her own oracle with keywords for healing. They all are in Spanish, but it's beautiful. Well, I don't know if you know Spanish, but it has a keyword and it's for healing processes. Hey Spirit, hey. I know I'm a rare sighting. No, you're not. You're not a rare sighting. We all remember you. We all know who you are. And yes, we do understand. You have a lot of things to do. So yeah, we appreciate that you're here when you can. Ah, okay, okay. I remember when I first started, the community, when I first started doing readings, and I came across a spirit in the comment section. She actually was, I believe, one of the first people to start recommending groups and idols that I didn't know about, and that I can proudly say that today I know a lot more about them and I love them and I appreciate everything that I know about them, and that I think that we got a whole lot of variety in readings when it comes to my channel because of people like Spirit, like all the people in the community. They, at the beginning, they all were the ones that were very kind, and they were like, my favorite group is this. Can you pull cards for them? And also naming some people, some idols, that from my perspective, I didn't know about them, or maybe I knew, but I never thought I would be reading for them, and now I love them. So I do appreciate a lot the people that were from the beginning of my channel, because without them, I wouldn't have the variety of content that I have, not always reading for someone's favorite all the time or my favorite, because that also can happen. You know that I have a bias, so I'm very blunt about that. I love my bias, but at the same time, I want to expand. I wanted to expand my channel when it comes to K-pop readings. I didn't just want to read for the popular, quote-unquote popular groups and the same people all the time. I know there's channels that do it, and they probably get much more views than me. But yeah, that's not what I wanted to achieve, actually. So yeah, always expanding, not staying stuck with the same people. Also, the other day I was talking with because I had my classes in counseling, and also I had a talk with a colleague of mine that also is a counselor, and she also loves astrology and everything. We were talking about, Scorpio season. And I was thinking about it, about, I don't know if it happens to you guys, if you notice the shift in the energy, that it seems like you take things more personally, and that everything seems like much deeper or serious or just overwhelming. And we were talking about obsessions and having a compulsive personality, and I think that that's something that when you're a Scorpio, when you have a lot of Scorpio placements, you can have that in you, or you can attract people that have that deepness, that profundity. But what happens when it gets in the way of relationships and in the way we connect with others? I noticed there's a lot of people talking about, I believe it's called limerence, that it's when you get like obsessed with someone you just met, and you like sort of project all your desires and your obsession, and you cannot stop thinking about that person. This also can happen with celebrities. It can happen with celebrities, and it can happen in real life with, I don't know, someone that you just met, and you think that this person is the one, or, and that's, the obsessiveness. We were thinking about it, and then this week I came across a video on YouTube about compulsive buying of tarot decks. And I think that when you're a tarot reader, hey Fluffy, when you're a tarot reader, you can get to that, and this was someone that was like, talking about, how many decks she had bought, like from 2019 to now. And she was like, she also made a list on paper about her expenses, how much money she makes monthly, and her expenses. How many tarot decks did you buy that month? How many do you still have or you gave away? Because that's another thing. You buy a tarot deck, and there's people that, want to do a detox. They decide to give it away or to sell it to someone else. But then eventually, it's like you make room for something new, probably. Which I believe that the positive action in here would be for you to stop buying and being like, okay, I clear the space. I only have the decks that I use, the decks that I feel that are the ones I need, and that's it. And yeah, absolutely feels like that everything is heightened emotion, sensibility, fears overwhelming. This is on top of the things coming up on surface that's hidden. It's crazy, right, for sure. This reminded me of what I read about two Woohyun's fans' interactions today only, the Scorpio moon is moon. How can an idol be so down for the fans? Yeah, I went through that phase of compulsive buying tarot decks. Yeah, and also I think that if because I have to, I try to use them all, But honestly, I do have a lot. Like, I could have a shell with the prettiest ones or the ones that I love the box and I want to display them. But then I have like a huge box and a basket where I have the ones that are not in boxes, that they are just in bags, like this one, like bags like this. And those are like forgotten, like they are out of sight. They are inside a drawer or inside hidden out of my sight. So it looks like, oh, I only have these ones that are over here. No, 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 you do have them somewhere else. And you don't use them. So I think that that's also, and it's funny because this woman was saying like, yeah, I'm talking about this right now, and I know that the mail guy just dropped on my front porch. They just left like a tarot deck that I ordered a few days ago, and I know that it's in the door. I know that it's waiting for me to unbox it. So and that's true. That's true. Sometimes we are like, yeah, I'm aware. I maybe have a lot of decks, but you end up buying anyway. Like, you are in this process of awareness. That is important. That is important to talk about it. And I think that in a period where everything is so about consumerism, and that there's a lot of channels of unboxing and reviews and the walkthrough, the tarot decks, the pictures. I definitely did value these creators' video, because I was like, finally someone spoke about this. Finally. Because it's not just about you keep buying compulsively, it's also that you are spending money that you don't have. And this can happen with different things. For example, she was mentioning that the same way she buys tarot decks, the same way she is with perfumes. And for me, I'm also guilty of this. So I don't know if this person is like we have a lot of similarities, but I was like, I have that too. I have very expensive perfumes that the bottle is like this. So, it's going to take a while for it to finish. But no, I'm also going to buy this one, and then because this smells nice, and this is for another occasion, and this is for the summer, and this is for the home, and this is for, so it's about what's going on with us and our compulsive need to have a lot of things. And then we store them away, so we don't feel that guilty. So there's a lot of, inner work to do about this. That's information. And I love this. I love when creators, or I love when people make me think, maybe about the obvious, about something that is obvious, that we know that we all can be guilty of this. But it's so nice to hear someone being like, yeah, guys, I'm exposing in this list what I earn and how much I spend. And, I'm exposing my weaknesses to you so you can also connect with your own. So that's valid. I love this. I love when people do this. Like I love it. I love it because otherwise there's the elephant in the room. It's like, it, you think about it, but you don't do anything about it. It's like you continue. Of course, members may be fan of him for the hinges, it doesn't he? The art of fan service. And he is the artist. I will go broke the way I'm buying food these days. If anyone has a compulsive deck buying habit, my shipping address will be available for a giveaway. Yeah, that also should be like, a kind gesture. That if you think that you have too much, maybe it would be nice for you to do a giveaway. For you to be like, I don't vibe with this deck. Because actually, that happens a lot. When you get all excited and you're like, yeah, I want the deck. I want it, I want it, I want it. Like, you want it, you got it. And then you end up not connecting with it. You don't feel the connection. You pull the cards and you're like, oh, yeah, I will just go back to the one that I use every day that is a bit, that is already a bit damaged. I will go with that one. And also one thing that I did notice about decks is that I had bought expensive ones, and then, probably the ones that I feel like I connect better with are the ones that are copies, that are not originals. It's unbelievable, guys. Like, and with this, I'm not supporting, I admit it, like, it's not okay to buy a copy, to do a copy, because, it's disrespectful to the person that created the deck. But, well, I live in Argentina, and there's some English, European decks, or even American decks that I cannot get here. So, I had to buy a copy. I have to do it. I'm guilty. But it's amazing how tarot works. Sometimes you just feel the connection, and maybe the quality is amazing. The drawings are beautiful, so detailed, but you just don't connect with it. Maybe you thought you would, but you didn't at the end. And also she was talking about this, that I believe I did say this to you guys whenever I talk about tarot, is how I miss, and this I have said it because I do follow people, I did see people that do these tarot readings, and they have a lot of decks, and they have a lot of oracles, and they have a lot of pretty cards, beautiful cards. And I'm like, I miss the tarot. I miss the art of reading tarot. That I don't think many people have it, honestly. Like, the tarot, it's like the symbolism. I don't know if I can transmit it well, what I feel, but I remember when the first tarot deck that I owned was a Marseillaise. And it was so difficult because in there it's not like the Rider-Waite that you have the hero's journey. You don't have people or a scenario. You just have the wands. You have the suits. So you have to, keep in mind, and also it's not just about being like, oh, this is a Six of Wands, it's about triumphs. No, you also have to observe the wands. Like, what is the energy of this deck? Yeah, these are 6 wands, but what is it telling you? These 6 wands. Because it's not just like 6 wands, like there's also in the image, even though you just only see 6 wands, there's a story. There's a message. There's an element. And the element is talking to you. It's talking to you through numbers. Because it's like, okay, if this is the 6 of Wands, this is a stage number 6. So what is it? What is a stage number 6? How does it feel to be a 6 of Wands? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel even? Does it feel comfortable? So when you are reading Marseillaise, when you are reading the traditional Spanish tarot deck, that's when you connect with tarot and with what tarot means, and also with the Rider-Waite as well. So sometimes when you buy these beautiful decks, that I do get it, there are some decks that are just beautiful. There are decks that, the creators are making beautiful things. But for example, for me, the the tarot decks that have images of people, real people, like a magazine, like I don't like those. Like I'm like, why? You know, like I cannot concentrate. But you know, I guess people, you know, like this, you know. And I'm not complaining because I own a Rider-Waite, a pink theme Rider-Waite. So, you know, I cannot say anything. But it's still Rider-Waite. When you know, how to read tarot, you will read any deck. Like you don't need much. You know, there's something about people being like having this sort of idea that you need to pull a lot of cards to see something, and actually no, you don't. No, you don't. If you can read it correctly, you don't need to pull that many cards. Yeah, spending money that you don't have exactly, Vanessa. Now I just can't afford it anymore. So that solves the question. And also, I'm thinking about this. Spirit. When I was like 21, I remember like, okay, you are 20. Of course, you don't have much in your mind. But I remember one of my first jobs, like, you know, official jobs. And I remember just not thinking about getting that much stuff because there wasn't a possibility. Like, you know, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to order this to my wish list, or I'm going to buy this, or I think I like this. No, first of all, because I was busy. Like I was busy like studying and also like working. But I'm thinking like how happy I was because, you know, when you don't have the money available, like you're doing good, but you don't have, like, you just have it to, it's not to survive, but you have it, you know, for the important things. And you don't lose yourself, you know. And it's very interesting how we, after 2020 or from 2020, we started getting more compulsive. That's what I was like, you know, about stuff, you know, about like, oh, I think I'm going to buy this. Yeah, I could die tomorrow, so you know, the world is going to end, so, you know, I'm going to buy this. Who is going to judge me? You know, we are all in lockdown. So, you know, and there's also the business of it. Also with content creators, the same. You know, we had been watching people like, that's why at the other day I was like, oh, I'm feeling very weird because all of a sudden I know there's a lot of artists that are having comebacks or that are doing these shows, and I'm not that interested in watching. I prefer to watch a TikTok later and to just avoid watching the whole thing. When maybe years back, I was very much about, like, you know, watching the preview, the pre-show, you know, whenever, you know, I just was like, okay, I cannot wait. I was counting the hours, you know. So definitely something's changing. It's a form of addiction. Exactly. If I may ask, how do you feel like you've been able to connect and vibe with the deck? Asking everyone here. For me, how do I feel when I vibe with the deck? I feel like I want to use it. Like my hands go to the deck without question. Even though I know that there's another ones that are prettier or that have, you know, like have older designs. I think that the positive part of me doing these live streams is that I can, get some decks out and show it to you guys. I mean, like, and use it here with you. That's what I'm very happy about, having this live stream, because I'm reminded that I could use different decks. But for example, when you watch my videos, there's always the same rider weight, or I used to change a lot, like in the first videos, but now I'm like, I'm staying with the tarot deck that I do use a lot is the vintage rider weight, the vintage tarot. That's the one that I use. Then the rider weight. But yeah, and then the astrological one, the radiant sun one, that you had been, guys, in this journey with me when I first bought it, when I first started using it during the live streams. That it was unbelievable, like the message, how straightforward that deck was, and that's a good deck. That's something when you're like, wow, this is a good deck. And it's so powerful because it talks about placements. So that's when I know that it's a good astrological oracle. Because it's not just, because I also have another one that I had pulled that it's about, you have one card that says Taurus, one card that says Capricorn, one card that says Cancer. But in the other one, you have the whole placements. You have Sun, Venus, Mercury, Mars. So it's great. I love it. And the keywords are very, very well chosen. I love them. Yes, we get attracted to things that we never really need. Mm-hmm. Oh, you live in Argentina? Yes, I do, Cheryl. I'm from Suriname, also in South America. Hey, Hope. Where is Suriname, Cheryl? Why am I not remembering where is Suriname? Okay, kind of topic, but just my niece was born recently, like 2 weeks back. May I make her virtual, guys? This girl is gonna be so pretty, so beautiful, Libra. Oh, congratulations! Congratulations, Spirit, to you and to your family. And with so many 7th house placements. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure she's beautiful. Yeah, Libra babies are beautiful. They are so charming. Yeah, we wish her a lot of health, that she's healthy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it's more of a health-based decision. Yes, money is important, but I'd rather spend a bit more rather than eat the free food that makes me sick, since I can go. Same, I don't watch the whole comebacks lately, just teaser and be in one variety show or two. Something has changed, yeah. I just use the weekends to catch up on K-pop now. I don't think I'm even that into it anymore. At least it saved me from COVID. Guyana. Suriname is between Guyana and French Guyana. And the south border for US is Brazil. I know Guyana. Which one is the other one? I know there's Guyana, and the other one is the one that sounds similar, that is next to it. I know that they were like twins, like they had like similar, they worked together when I used to remember geography. I used to remember that part of Latin America. It's like Central America, no, right? Oh, I'm so happy, babies. Yeah, and also about, because the other day, remember that we were talking on Discord about parasocial relationships in K-pop, and we were talking about, these crazy people just like, getting very, very far when it comes to wanting something out of these poor idols. And then there's one, after I heard that podcast, that thank you for the person that shared like the paper, like the article, because I listened to the podcast, and honestly, the podcast wasn't that interesting. Like, I don't know why there was something about the voices of the women in there that I just couldn't connect with the message. I was like bored. And also there was something about, I don't know if they made me a bit like sleepy with their voices, like very low, like it wasn't a good quality. And also the podcast was a bit like too boring. I don't know why. And I'm used to listening to psychology podcasts, so I wonder what happened in there. I don't know if it's the host or if it was because there was a lot of like guests in there in that podcast, but I really wanted to finish it, but I couldn't. Like I went back and read the article. It's South America. Venezuela is next to Guyana. So in that area, I remember. No matter how global K-pop gets, I'll never be as excited as I was before COVID era. Yeah, the Lulu. I have only read whole transcripts and did not listen to the content. Yeah, that's what I went back and did that, Marushka, because I know that you guys share with that. But I tried because I wanted to listen to it as a podcast, because I was like, oh, this is interesting. And you know, guys, how I had been working on the thesis that I have to deliver by the end of this month. That is going to be about parasocial relationships, like how being a fan sort of shapes the teenager, or the adolescent. Because I'm studying adolescence, so I'm like going deep into that subject. But then I came across these videos that also talk about limerence. That is when you get real delulu and obsessive with someone that you just met. And this can be with a celebrity, and also it can be with a random person that you just met, I don't know, at work. And when you get like a sort of infatuation that you don't know the person, but you're already imagining yourself getting married to that person, and that it has to be that person, and when that person probably doesn't go along or doesn't like reciprocate the intensity of you, or how you perceive the connection, you feel very wounded. And you feel very hurt inside, and you feel very like, it definitely like affects you. So, I was thinking about this, and also I was listening to some podcasts, but in this case there was like these free therapists that they were hilarious. Like they had a good vibe, when they start just. It seemed like girl talking, like when you women gathering and you talk about your experiences, and there was one that was like, oh yeah, I got these limerence symptoms when I was about to get a divorce from my husband, and I was going through a rough time, and then another one that says, yeah, I kind of like had this infatuation with like, I don't know, a random model, Instagram model that I found on Instagram, and all of a sudden I got very obsessive and I started like consuming everything that he posted, and I would feel like I would see myself like having, I don't know, like daydreaming about the person, like how would it be to be with him or to be his girlfriend, and I think that when we think about K-pop, even though it's different because K-pop is built to sort of feed you into this deluluness. But how it's harming when that person has a compulsive personality or is an obsessive person. So you are not helping that person. You are just feeding like more fire, more fuel to the fire. And when they realize that they cannot have that, they cannot have their favorite, they cannot, or maybe he is engaged to someone else, or he's been seen with the opposite sex, or being nicer to someone else, this person's world gets all shattered, and gets all, they get like an emotional trauma because it takes them back to the wound of feeling rejected. Like you are not good enough if your bias doesn't want you, or if your bias, and I think that that's the most, because I was like going back to myself, and I was thinking like when I felt like this, when I felt so unstable, and now that we are in Scorpio season, I think that it's very interesting because I was talking to my friend and we were sort of like talking about our past experiences. And I remember, guys, I told you about the first time and the only time that I went on a date with a Scorpio guy, that he was sun and moon in Scorpio. And when the way we just didn't click. But if I think about how I felt back then, I remember that for me, he was like, until this day, I would say he was the one person that I felt the most attracted to. Like when it comes to personality and the way he looked and the way he was with me. Like there was this chemistry, but not chemistry, but I would say like I had a sort of admiration for him. Like I remember like seeing him and I couldn't look away. I was like so, like I would say obsessed, but I was like, I would stop in my tracks for him, and usually I'm not like that. So whenever I have to think about when did I experience this infatuation for someone, I had to think about this Scorpio guy. And how, if I think that, okay, we were very young because we were both 17, I think he was 2 years older than me. And how we were so out of sync. Like I was interested, but I think that he just, he was in another state in his life. He probably had another options, or he was just, I know he used to travel a lot because he was in the military. So, but I was like, I remember like having this, how can I express it? It was a mix of anxiety, nervousness, and just feeling a lot for the guy, but feeling very unstable. That's something that I remember that feeling. That's why I think that when we were together, it was awkward, because he didn't make me feel secure. Like all of a sudden, I felt like, I had to be more, or I had to be something that I wasn't. So he made me feel maybe a bit insecure, maybe because, he wasn't that expressive. So, maybe, I don't know. But when I was talking to my friend about this, I was like, yeah, I remember that he was that guy. Now that we're talking about a Scorpio season, and I think about it. And I believe that's the only guy that I until this day, I feel like he was like, I had him on a pedestal. And I only went on a few, I think we met each other, then we went on a date, then we saw each other again. But it was so toxic, guys. Like if I think about it, like I feel a bit ashamed of myself, because, not ashamed, but I feel like we were so petty, both of us. Like he wanted to make me jealous. He was with another girl, and I was with another guy. like it was toxic. It was so toxic. Like I also feel, I feel very bad for like my, like the other people involved, because they didn't have anything to do with what was going on with us. I think that we didn't communicate properly, like like you know, that's why I like I take responsibility for what I felt for him back then, but he also felt a sort of way for me as well, so it was mutual, but it wasn't right, because it seemed like there had to be drama, like there had to be other people involved, or there had to be, I mean, we were, when we were, like there had to be drama in the middle, like it wasn't meant to be, like maybe both of us, we were childish, we were, I don't know, egotistic, or maybe we just brought the worst of ourselves, and I think that that's the reason why we didn't last. But the attraction was very intense, and I believe that that's what I wanted to feel back then, you know, or maybe that's what I idealized in my head, that that was how a relationship should be like, you know, very passionate or very, you know, chaotic. Um, but yeah, we were we were very toxic together. So yeah, but I do remember that, and I remember that after we ghosted each other, because back then the ghosting didn't exist. But when we stopped talking to each other, when we just cut connections, then I met very like really good guys, and I learned that sometimes when someone makes you feel that like nervous inside or that chaotic inside, it doesn't matter if they tell you that they love you and if they promise you the world, there's something wrong. There's something wrong in there. When you feel like you cannot be yourself, or when you feel threatened, or when you feel like you're not, like as if you were in danger. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I think that sometimes when we are young, we tend to glamorize toxicity, and it's not okay. Then with time, I learned that the right person for you makes you feel safe and makes you feel taken care of. You know, and you don't have to be something that you're not, or you don't have to be fighting the other person or be in a competition about who is more mean than the other. You know, like I don't know. That's my experience. That's what I was thinking about, and I was like, yeah, this is very much a Scorpio season. Yeah, this this is my resolution. But yeah, I think that it's okay to go back and think about the times where we weren't happy, you know, and probably you think about it and you're like, yeah. And also, you know, it's interesting because probably if we were really in a stable relationship and communication, maybe eventually I would have, like, you know, gotten bored of him, because I think that I wasn't seeing him for who he really was. I was seeing him for who I wanted him to be, and maybe other, like maybe vice versa. But you know, when the fireworks and everything stops, and you suddenly, like when you live with that person, or when you are with that person a lot of times, you start seeing the real person. And I would be like, okay, maybe if I had stayed with him, I would have really discovered that I didn't like him very much, or that maybe he wasn't that amazing, you know? So it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like this before for someone, but yeah, it's interesting to look back at that. Yes, because I imagine if you use K-pop as examples, you have some good materials. Shortest relationship stories usually leave most impact on us because there's no resolution in the end. Yeah, I agree, Mariuszka. Some people just bring the worst in us. The best is to step back and leave chaos completely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Right person feels just safe and calm like home. No crazy emotions or crazy passion. Yeah. There's an Infinite song which I personally think is one of their best, but they never talk about it. It's called Suffocate. Of course, as a fan lover group, they would never talk about it. Love is about feeling safe and comfortable. Yeah, obsessive love is something I have experienced and it's creeped me out, both being on the receiving end and being the one obsessed. Yes, it felt overwhelming, like there was no place for anything else in my life. Like I couldn't focus on anything. It was way too much. Yeah, and also they were talking about, like, because when we think about that term about limerence, and you're like, yeah, maybe at one point in my life, like I obsessed over someone, whether it was fictional or a real person. But then how, maybe, like, have you ever been the object of someone's limerence? Like maybe you were someone's obsession and you don't know. Like how does that make you feel? And it's interesting, because when you get obsessive or when you get like fixated on someone, you don't see it as being wrong. You see it like, oh yeah, because that person is amazing and I'm just gonna stop thinking about it and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to be like this. And and everything, it's like you are like this. But when someone does this to you or you got them being a bit like this, you feel creep out. You're like, oh no, my God, this person is bothering me. Like, oh no, please get away. So it's interesting also the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is interesting because, like, that's why, my bias is Utah, is NCT 127 Utah. And we know that he has a love for Mark. This Mark is his person. And it's funny because there's a lot of moments on camera where he is like being seductive with Mark and talking about Mark all the time, like he does it so well. But then when someone does it to him, he doesn't like it. Like, for example, when I mentioned Jungkook, that that Jungkook is also, he's, very heavy in the flirtatious, character. It's like the guy is very affectionate, he's very loving or he's very goofy, So seeing him being like talking about Utah all the time or trying to get close to Utah and Utah being like, no, I only like Mark. Like, get away. Like, so, but it's interesting to see how when he does it to Mark, for him it's hilarious, it's fun, it's like he's cool. You should celebrate it. But when someone shows the amount of devotion to him, he doesn't like it. He rejects it all the way because he feels like, oh no, what are you doing? Like, no, don't choose me. Don't focus on me. Don't obsess over me. Something like, it's great. I love it. I love it. Your point reminded me of a quote that's been my life motto since about guys. No one gives me butterflies anymore. Everyone gives me brain damage. Oh my God. Like a real Scorpio. Yeah, but I swear that it's hilarious to see his disgust, his face of disgust. He's like, no, like, why are you touching me? Why are you invading my space? You know, it's like karma. I love it. I love it. Well, you can find someone who gives you butterflies, but you have to be open to it though. And it's hard if you have been traumatized by your previous relationship. Yeah, it's a whole process, yeah. Can Yuta ever resign his obsessive behavior in general in his life, or is just so much a Scorpion, that's it? I don't know. For me, the person that it's just that with Yuta, I don't know, because he's a good liar. So I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, is the guy really that obsessive? I don't know. I don't know why. I like, because I've seen it so much on camera that I don't know if obsessive it's. I think he plays it well for cameras. He does it well. Because, I don't know, me as someone that has, I'm not a Scorpio, but I have a Scorpio placements. I have Moon in Scorpio and Moon conjunction Pluto. Oh, so for me, being obsessive, I wouldn't say obsessive, but being fixated on something that I like or someone that I like is more about like where my attention goes. And usually it's not something that is obvious. Like I tend to look more at where the person is, or I tend to focus on the person, but not all the time. Like I have my moments. Like just like any Scorpio placement, there's intensity, but there's also restriction. So it's not like you are like, for example, the ones that are obsessive and are not restrictive at all are Tauruses. Taurus is the one that for me is like the energy of obsession, and they just cannot take their hands off you. Like they really have to be like you know, like glued to you. Like they have to sit next to you, like very attached, like this. You know, like they don't understand personal space. They have to grab your hand or touch your hair. They have to do something to touch you, because for them it's physical. It's about the place that they take. You know, it's more about ownership. Like, okay, if I sit close to you, it means that you and I are together, and this is the way I move shows how interested I am. And they are very touchy. They are very touchy. Don't know boundaries. But in the case of a Scorpio, it's more like I'm observing you, but I'm doing it when no one is watching. And I'm very silent about it. But I know it inside of me that if like, I don't want you to notice that I'm noticing you, but we have those attitudes. Yeah. So that's why when I see him being obvious, I'm like, is it the real Yuta? Yeah, the kind of a scorpionic love is pretty much intense and can be really exhilarating, makes you feel alive, right? I broke up with my first boyfriend because he was getting less interesting. Nothing was wrong with him. I just didn't feel loved by him anymore. Oh, and that's very brave. I love it. Like, actually, you know, for me, like, I had done it in the past. Like, I'm guilty. Like, I remember I at first I was really like excited to get into a relationship with someone, but then yeah, I got bored because actually like he wasn't that like you mentioned, he wasn't that interesting in my eyes. I felt like we didn't have anything in common intellectually. Like he just was very like he had his own ideas and that's it. And for me, I was like, okay, I cannot imagine myself like spending time with this person. Like, he was so nice, but no, no. Vanessa, have you seen his eyes? These are the eyes of an obsessive man. I don't know, because he has lenses. He wears contact lenses. So I don't know. I don't know about the eyes. These eyes are fake. Give that man an Oscar. Scorpios are good at being secretive. Taurus will just own you. Yeah, it is crazy because they don't ask for permission. They just install themselves in the picture, and you're like, what are you doing here? Yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely people. But it's like they already have their mind that it's all about, protecting what's theirs. And not like PDA, aficionados, Leos and Taurus. I love that about Taurus, though, that they are so touchy. It's sweet if you are into it, of course. Yeah, definitely. That's completely fine. Chemistry doesn't always develop as expected. I'm Leo with too much Saturn in Aqua. Try to have me or PDA and see my killer eyes. She's going to give you like the killer eyes. Still, he has huge eyes, and with that stare, he has beautiful eyes. Like that man, like the other day, I was seeing, like when he was his birthday, there's these child's pictures of him, like when he was a child, when he was a baby, actually. He was beautiful from the day one. Like, I just don't understand that guy. How can he be so beautiful as a baby? I remember there's one picture where he is wearing like this. It's like a jumpsuit, and it's like a pink jumpsuit, and he must be in there. He must be like 1 year old. He was so beautiful, so beautiful. Like you say, the eyes big and dark, beautiful. The same nose, the same, he hasn't changed that much. Like, you see his baby pictures and you're like, yeah, that's Utah. That's Utah. Even though, yeah, we know that maybe he had something done to his cheeks or to his, I don't know. But his features, like the nose and the lips and the eyes, are all his. Like, what a beautiful baby. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm a Capricorn, and I know that when I was a baby, I was ugly and hairy. So I was ugly. I had huge eyebrows. And also I was a premature, so I was very hairy because they gave me these hormonal treatments to grow because I was born at 6 months. So yeah, but I was ugly. So seeing a beautiful baby from the start, I'm like, I appreciate it. I don't like Taurus. Yeah, me neither, Carlos. They don't let me breathe. I don't like it. They don't let me breathe. As long as it's someone I don't mind. Other people though, better back off. What are you playing? Honestly, I don't know what I like or I don't like. I don't think I like anyone, sorry. I just hate gymnastic. Like, shut up. Oh my. It's because of an ex-relationship. Oh. Do I tell you my tropical or Vedic placements? Capricorn Sun and Pisces Moon and Ascendant is not clear. Yeah, Carlos, in my case, because, I was born premature and they didn't have the correct birth time, I had it rectified by an astrologer. In Spanish se llama rectificar la carta. You do that when you don't have the the specific time of birth, but they ask you questions to sort of like positionate the planets and give you an estimated birth time. I legit know a tarot guy who loves to make out in front of everyone. Oh my. Okay guys, let's begin because I have been talking too much. In my case, it's because in 2 pages give me different ascendants. Carlos, the most trusting one that I use is astro.com. Don't use the others, just astro.com. Okay, then so I'm a Cancer moon for tropical and massage Venus. 12th house. Now I know why I hate everyone. Yeah, but I mean it when we are children. And in this you can, like, I know that we're talking about famous people, but if you know, you know. Sometimes we go through some glow ups. Like there's people that actually are not that beautiful children, or that like I don't know, like I think that when I was like 8, no, maybe yeah, like I think that what made me always very pretty to the eyes of others is that I have Venus and Mars in Pisces. So, and I also have like curly hair, you know. So I always been like, I always had like a big smile, you know. So in that sense, the water placements did give me much more like, you know, charisma, I would say, as a child, you know, always like more open to meet people, you know, to be in the spotlight, you know, like. But yeah, we Capricorn are not that beautiful. Like if you compare us to other children, we are not like the prettiest children, for example, in the group. I must be the first person who had a glow down. It's mostly health related. I'm seeing you now. Oh, but that's a phase, Spirit. That's a phase. You are still very young. You are still very young. We all change. We all change. Like, never underestimate your power of transformation. We all change. And yes, sometimes, yes, health does affect the way we are perceived by others, because not only our mood changes, but also our body changes. I had gone through a lot of like weight fluctuation. So, you know, I know I know what I'm telling you, that, yeah, like we all have our periods, our moments where we feel better about ourselves, better about our looks, or not so good about our looks. But you don't underestimate yourself. You can have the glow up. The moment will come. Exactly, Carlos. Yes, definitely. One person said that we are not ugly, just poor. Exactly. Okay, I'm going to start reading for the Boyz Q. because I decided to do the Scorpio reading for Sangyeon, for the leader. That's going to be on Monday, I believe I'm going to upload it. And so I'm going to be pulling cards for the Boyz Q here and now. The Boyz Q. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we need to have these Capricorn influenced people to tell us like it is. It's not that you are not like, you are poor. That's the reason. We are poor. When you have the means, or when you have even, but I did, having met people with money, sometimes their choices when it comes to their appearances, their fashion, even their hair, not all of them are glamorous. I had met people that work very well when it comes to their incomes, and they were so dirty. Like, they were so, like, I believe they did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. This about not caring about themselves, and just like wearing very, like, trying to be a sort of hippie. Maybe that was a sort of way of fashion, but definitely like. And also, there's a lot of wealthy people that are too skinny. Like, honestly, I had always been skinny when I was younger, so I would always fight with the mirror because, some things wouldn't look good when you're too skinny. And this also happens to me when I see some K-dramas, when usually you have like these people the rich girl or the pretty girl or the famous girl or the idol girl, that they are all skin and bones. Like, honestly, like, I don't know what's beautiful about that. Because for me, I'm like looking at their legs and I'm like, oh my God, she's going to break. I feel so concerned and so worried, and I'm not looking at it like, especially when they wear very short skirts, I'm like, that's not beautiful. They don't even have tights. Like, no, no. Baby chunky in a time of the beauty. What is the elitist vision of beauty, guys? No, best killer beauty, self-confidence. No money can fake it. Sexiest, most attractive people are especially self-confident. Yes, confidence and charms. I was listening podcast today, and one ex-male model therapist was saying that his female colleagues and women would hide in real life under glasses. Hoodies, messy hair, dirt. Same. Outfit shopping is a struggle. When you're skinny, sometimes when I move to Japan in Korea and find good clothes. I remember when I was skinny, when I was like in my 20s, that I would have to wear like, jeans that they were the sizes of children. Like because like, Latin America, women tend to have curves. So I remember I had to, the jeans that would fit me the best were the ones that were like for children, because of the length and also of the how it would sit well. But I was so skinny, like I didn't have any curves, and I hated it. Like I wanted to have curves, because we are a Latin American culture. So in here, the woman that has it has a booty or has nice chest, like we really like that. Nowadays it's going back to the skinny things, like model looking, but back then when I was young, I wanted to have like curves. And I was very lucky because my mom had this machine. I don't know how you call it in English. That you sew with this machine, the sewer. Well, she used to make clothes, So she would arrange them for me. I would buy a top, and she would like make it smaller for me, because I like it would really be like, very. Sewing machine. That. Thank you. Sewing machine. I agree, Vanessa. And same for some men in K-pop too. Sometimes it's too much, and actually internally they must feel so fragile. Yeah. Another thing is not to compare yourself. As long as you're well and happy, that's the important thing. Yeah, and how we take for granted being healthy, guys. Being healthy. Because not only from here, but internally in the body as well. Sometimes when idols have to go diets, because everyone knows that they do it, sometimes I look at them and I'm thinking about them. I think, when they're talking to the camera and, maybe filming some MVs and doing some interviews, sometimes I look at them and I'm like, do they get dizzy? Like, do they have these moments where they feel sick? How many times they must feel so weakened, so strange in their body because of I know they have a lot of they have energy drinks and a lot of things, but that mustn't be the right supplement. When I lost too much weight after surgery, I dressed at Gap Kids that was size 0. Size 38, 32. In stores was not available in women clothes stores because it was still considered. I prefer curves and softness too, but don't allow yourself to put in weight too much. Yeah, exactly. Just accept your weight, exactly. Yeah, remember when I was a child, I also was very skinny, and I remember people grown-ups and adults asking me if I ate. They were obsessed. I remember I would go over to my cousin's house, and she was a bit she was a tall girl, but she was she was tall, and she has a lot of body. And I remember her mom would always force me to eat. She was like, oh, you have to eat this. She would she would prepare tea for us. And she would be like, oh, you have to eat this. And then you eat this. And I was like, no, thank you. I already ate. I don't want to. And also I was very shy when I was in someone else's home. When you don't want to eat in someone else's home. And she was like, no, but you have to eat, because you're so skinny. She was so obsessed with feeding me. And I'm like, yeah, I eat at my house. I have food at my house. It's just that I am skinny. What can I do? They must feel weak at times, but they also probably get used to it after a while. At least when we go through the phase, it kind of was like that. It's not sustainable long term. But isn't that why I lose false 6 of this? Yeah. Yeah, when adults want to feed you, it feels like they're policing you even if they mean well. Yeah, and specifically for a child, for a child that you're like, no, I'm not lying, I'm okay. I don't want to eat. And also, well, my mom, true relatives always have the most concern of our weight. It said my mom blamed for it as if she was not feeding well. Yeah, they would look at your mom being like, what's going on? Are you feeding her? Because look, they are the same age and she's too skinny. And you're like, yeah, of course I'm skinny because your daughter is taller. She's huge. She was huge next to me. Of course, that I was going to look like a bit thinner, you know. But, you know, I remember because my mom, she was from the province, so, you know, she was also, like, she was in her 40s when she had me. So she was very concerned because I was born premature and everything. So I remember that she would always go to the how do you call it, the children's doctor, pediatrician, pediatrician, is it? She would go and she would complain that I wouldn't eat. She would serve me this, you know, this plate of soup, and she would expect me to eat it everything, and she would force me to eat everything, and I would be crying and puking because I didn't want to eat anymore. And he was like, you know, you shouldn't force her to eat more than what she's capable of eating. Remember that she is a premature child, and probably her stomach is tiny, or it's smaller than the regular ones. So if she doesn't want to eat anymore, don't force food on her because you're making her sick. But she would get really frustrated. She would get really frustrated with me when I would start puking. Because it's like I couldn't, like I got, you know, like full right away, like, you know, even if it was soup. And she comes from a family where they were like 6 brothers, like 6 siblings, I mean, like 3 sisters and 3 brothers, and they were raised in the countryside, and they didn't have much to eat. So she comes from that culture where, you know, like you don't skip meals, you know. So she would get very like angry and frustrated because I wouldn't eat. Like, for example, there was another children of my age that they would eat a lot, or they would be like, oh yes, can you serve me another plate? And I would be like, no, I don't want another plate, just I would have mine. Like, and she was like, okay, what's wrong with my child? You know, but yeah, we are not all the children, we are not the same, we are different. Pediatrician, thank you. Yes, health is wealth. Exactly, Spirit. Exactly. Especially when you're away from home and loved ones take care. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Spirit. Like that's something that I always like. I always tell my friends that they have their mom still with them, or you know, we know that moms, sometimes there's people that don't have the best relationship with moms, but you know, in my case, since I don't have my mom anymore, like I try to raise awareness for people that do have it, and I'm like, enjoy your relationship with your mom, even if it's not the best. Like, try to make the most of it, like the best you can, because then when they are gone, and when you have these moments where you're feeling sick, or when you're feeling like vulnerable, or when you're feeling like a bit sad, the first thing that comes to your mind is your mom. And when you don't have them anymore, it's like a whole void, it's a whole emptiness that no one can fill. No one can replace your mom. Your dad as well, of course you can have the same connection with your dad, but that's something that, at least from my experience and me as a woman, I notice a huge change. Whenever I feel sick or I feel bad, you know, I miss my mom. So I guess that we are, you know, we are still a child when we connect with that part of us wanting to be with our mothers, you know, or wanting to be taken care of. You know, we always have that. We will always have that with ourselves. So let's not regret the moments that we can spend with them. I know it's cliche. I know there's people that are like, oh, I don't care because I don't have the best relationship. I know that not all mothers are like the greatest. I know it. But if you can enjoy it and nourish that relationship and be grateful, that's the best. Yes, A lot of my wealth has gone because of my current health, guys. So I'm saying from experience, exactly. And also when you have something that is related to health, suddenly nothing else matters. Nothing else, it's like you don't see things the same. Like it seems like life stops. And when you have health issues, it's tough. You know, that's why sometimes, especially when you have something that is chronic or something, that you will not be able to get away from it that fast. Sometimes people want you to get over it very fast, or people expect you to recover fast, so you can go back to being the same self, but it's not just emotionally that it drains you in your pockets as well. And it's not pretty. So yeah, you're right, Spirit. And it takes away your smile and your ability to enjoy things. Yeah, honestly, my daughter has always been my dad since mom is so busy, but I always feel like I can communicate better with my mom. Yeah, wherever you can, just embrace it. It depends. It depends for each individual. But my mother's advice and reassurance is like no other on topic. She's not even an expert about. Yeah, exactly, Fluffy. Yeah, mothers are precious. But I understand that not all. I know there's mothers that don't deserve the title, but yeah, they brought us here. They brought us to life. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to start reading. I'm going to start reading because otherwise I'm going to be here forever, and I don't want to stuck you guys here. Oh. Okay, for the boys, Q, for Taemin. I'm going to use this Spanish oracle, the tiny one that I showed you, of healing, because this guy needs a lot of healing. Q. I have 3. I have, then after the boys, Q, I have Taemin Kun relationship, the ones you mentioned. Taemin Kun relationship and Taemin. And then I'm going to continue with Enhypen. How do they flirt? Okay. Very Scorpio reading, definitely. Okay. Taemin Q got Queen of Swords, 10 of Cups, 9 of Swords, the Magician, and the Moon. And then I pulled an extra card from the Oracle, and he got the card of Let It Go, soltar, in Spanish. Let it go or release. Just release it, And I think that is very fitting for Scorpio because, yeah, there's something about Taemin that I love him. He's one of my biases, actually. Like, my main bias is Sanyon, but he is, like, I love Q because he's amazing. But the guy is so full of fear. So I don't, like, I think that obviously he comes from a place here with the Queen of Swords and the 10 of Cups where honestly he had been fulfilling a lot of, emotionally he has been feeling like a queen, like really creative, like probably he had a lot of ideas for the boys, creation. So definitely there's something about him also like, feeling considered and feeling like the creative the creativeness that he has, it was like an honor to be included. You know, probably he had some ideas or he had some projects or, you know, he shared something. So he's like, oh, I'm honored that you took my advice. Or I'm honored that you guys included this that I made. Because honestly, I think that Q is someone that he has a lot of creative, you know, a lot of creativity. So I think that he should be more involved in some projects, but honestly, the last one that he was included in, he felt like it was an honor. You know, like he felt very emotional about it. Like, oh my God, like, you know, you want me to do this and this came out right. So, and also there's something about him because the Ten of Cups is also feeling good in communities and feeling like finally like you belong. So probably he had been like also like being a bit more assertive and social when it comes to him being part of different groups, not just the work group or not just like being part of the Boyz. I think that probably he extended this emotional fulfillment that he has and he was able to, you know, hang out with other people, with other groups, you know, because he has a lot of love to give. And he has like the guy is just great. It's just that I think that it's hard to get him to be part of groups. Like, I don't know, I think that he's a very protective guy of his intimacy and probably he just hangs out with the people that he knows and that's it. So I believe here he was like invited to different opportunities and he was like, oh, you know, I had fun, you know, this was great. I'm glad I went there. I'm glad I agreed to do this because he sabotages himself a lot. Honestly, he sabotages himself a lot. I think that this is not about him not having opportunities. I think that he does have opportunities and conversations with people, but he is very fearful. You know, here in the middle of the reading, we have the Nine of Swords. So he's still haunted by past mistakes. So the guy is still stuck in the past. I don't know what happened in the past with him and his image, but there's something about him feeling like haunted by memories. You know, like it seems like he, you know, he's able to go out and do something and he has fun and he's like, okay, yeah, I think I'm doing great. You know, I think I'm being appreciated. I think that people really like me. But all of a sudden, then he starts doubting himself. Or then he starts thinking about the worst scenario. So it's complex. He is a complex guy, definitely. Here with the Magician and the Moon card. See, again, he is a guy that he has a lot of ideas, a lot of potential. He is a performer. He has the flexibility, the adaptability. He has the intelligence to be great on stage and adapting to whatever concept comes up. But then we have the Moon card, that is about his fears. So he goes out, does something amazing, but then he goes back and he starts doubting himself. He starts fearing the outcome. Or he starts trying to find the flaw. Like, oh, I messed up here. Oh, no, I shouldn't have done this. Or I shouldn't have said this. Or I shouldn't have, like, stared at that. You know, there's a lot of fears around Taemin. Honestly, I think that he should, like, get some help about this. Because, yeah, no. And also he got the card of let go. So he has to get rid of this mentality, of this negativity, I would say. He has to. He has to. He has to. And also with the Magician, there's something about him not wanting to do things alone. With the Magician, I definitely could see him like, you know, he's really good at doing this, like, you know, this because he is the main dancer, but somehow I think that he doesn't want to do things alone. Like he doesn't want to be the main attraction in a show, for example, because he starts thinking like, no, I'm awkward, I'm shy, like I don't know what to say, I don't get along well with strangers, you know. There's something about he sabotaging himself. Yeah, it's all illusions, it's all in his mind, it's all in his unconscious. He really is not that lost, you know, he really is not that like you know, like that helpless. Actually is all in, is himself against himself, I would say. Have you seen this cute video where he talks about his sister, Vanessa? How his parents had to sacrifice his sister's future for Q's career? Oh my. He was very emotional about the whole thing. Oh my God. No, I didn't know that. Wow. The other members didn't really know how to react to this. I think that it was when they first won an award or something. Oh, when they were crying, when they were on a live stream, I know that the staff brought like a cake. I remember he started crying, yeah. Yeah, like he feels so guilty, like so guilty. Oh. Oh my God. Yeah, and also maybe he has some, you know, some phobia, or maybe because I feel very nervous. When I read for him, I feel so nervous. So I don't know if he needs I think he needs someone to talk to. Definitely. Like, it's not critical, but I think that it's also not okay to normalize it and being like, oh, that's Q. You know, Q is like this. Q is the nervous one. You know, Q is awkward around others. No, I think that the guy needs a therapist. Definitely. Because he's supposed to be accepting these offers and he's declining them. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing because he's very insecure. That's really sad. He needs a break. Yeah. Poor guy. Oh. Poor guy. Like, yeah, like I wish I had pulled, you know, better cards, but he gets these heavy cards. And also, like, you know, he got from the Oracle, he got the card, the advice is let go. Even the Oracle is like telling him that he should release the guilt. You are not in that place anymore. Like, let go. Okay. Ten and Kun relationship or friendship. Ten, Kun, the relationship. Oh, wow. A lot of things are changing in this dynamic for the better. They need to harmonize a bit the relationship. Here says are harmonize. They need to put a bit of balance in this connection. Okay, from Ten's perspective, we have eight of pentacles. Here it says spirals, that's why I was guessing. 8 of pentacles and 10 of wands. Then from Kun, we have 7 of swords, see? 7 of swords and 10 of cups. Then from the relationship as an overall, we have the card of death and Knight of Swords. And then, yeah, from the oracle, they got the card of harmonize. So, yeah, definitely I think that there's something about 10 really feeling the burden. You know, definitely there's something about 10 I think that he always feels like he has to practice more, do more, absorb more knowledge, perfectionate this, do that. And he really, I think he has a hard time like letting people know that sometimes he feels like he carries a lot of weight on his shoulders. And I think that there's something about him, maybe when it comes to his connection with Kun, there's something about him, you know, trying to look up for Kun. I know that Kun is the leader of WayV, but there's also something about probably 10 wanting to be the perfect support for Kun or the perfect apprentice. You know, it's like, and probably he takes too much burdens, he takes too much responsibilities to help the group or to help Kun. You know, I don't know if maybe also he is like in charge of leadership also. I don't know. But it seems like from 10's perspective, it's tough to be 10. Like 10 has to, it seems like a lot of things are expected from 10. And one of these things is to be perfect. It's like he's not just a regular member. He's someone that he always has to do a lot of projects at the same time. He always has to be practicing new things. Like he can never relax. So there's something about him, you know, when it comes to his connection with Kun. I think that he is not that honest with Kun sometimes about how heavy this burden is, you know, because he doesn't want to bother Kun at the same time. But he definitely notices that he, I don't know if he feels like he has more responsibility than the others or that he has to be his best for the sake of the group. So, and also, there's something also about him probably not wanting to admit that he needs help to Kun. You know, there's something about him telling Kun, like, yeah, everything is okay. Like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, we have to do this. I got this. Like, do you need help with this? I got it too. You know, there's something about him, you know, offering his help, his time, his everything, like he being a multitasker. And actually like feeling a bit tired, but not being able to say it. Because I think that there's something about 10 when it comes to Kun, that he wants to be Kun's favorite, like his right hand. I don't know if this is why I'm like, okay, does he help Kun to organize some matters about the group? Because I sense that the two of them work together. You know, I know that Kun is the leader, but he's like the second best. But at the same time, it seems like he's much more busy. Like he has a lot of things, but at the same time, he doesn't have the courage to tell Kun that sometimes he feels overwhelmed. Like, you always come to me to tell me to help you with this or to tell me about something. And I have my mind in a lot of things as well. So, but there's also about like, yeah, I complain, but at the end of the day, I try to be there for you. So it's complex. It's complex. It's complex. Yeah, it's complex. And also, I believe that there's something about 10 always wanting to keep everyone together. This is why he wants to be like the best of the best, so he can keep others together at the same time. I thought Kun had all this under control. He seems so grounded and responsible. He does not need help. Yeah. Yeah, but for me, Kun is more about he's very smart. He's a guy that probably, when it comes to intellectual things, he is like the boss in that sense. But 10 is the fuel. 10 is the physical effort. 10 is the one that he's the machine. That's why he gets ones. Because his body is the one that makes things happen. He makes the success happen. In the case of Kun, there's something here with the 7 of Swords and 10 of Cups that I think that Kun, there's something about Kun. Yeah, like he's busy, but I think that he's much more busy. Like, the kind of person that he's always being like requested at the office. He's the one that is called to talk about papers and decision making, arranges, words, papers, organization. And also with the 10 of Cups, he does have a sort of like, he's very loved and respected in the community. So he's a guy that he's very well established because I don't know how long he has been part, but it seems that I don't know why I get tense energy that he's a bit more busy. I don't know why. In the case of Kun, how does he feel about 10? I feel like he feels honored that he has someone like 10 in his team. But also, I think that there's something about Kun also. I think that, well, maybe this has to do because he is the leader, so Kun knows things that he doesn't tell to 10. He knows things and he doesn't say, and I don't think that it's just with 10. I think that probably it's with the other members, Like he has conversations and he has interactions. He has information that he doesn't say to the group. He's like, okay, this that you told me, okay, I know. But at the same time, the good thing about 10 is that he is, he's the leader, but he loves his group. He's very loyal to his group. He's very loyal. But yeah, there are some things, some discussions, something. Maybe he doesn't want the group, he doesn't want to give them a negative feedback. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he has these meetings, with some higher ups, and the higher ups are like, this was we expected more, we wanted more. I don't know, but he's like the one that he's like, I better do not transmit this to the guys because we are not doing very well. So, me as a leader, I'm going to sort of like sugarcoat this and I'm going to deliver to the guys or to 10 in a very pleasant way. So he doesn't feel, because that's something about, 10 feels very pressured because, he has pressure coming from different directions to himself. It's not just Kun the one he listens. He has a lot of other leaders talking to him. So he feels pressured. So, this is why I think that Kun is much more like, I better do not tell him bad news because I don't want him, to get. Both of them have tens. Ten has a 10 of wands and Kun has a 10 of cups. So there's a lot of like compassion. This is what I wanted to say, that Kun is very compassionate towards Ten's burdens, because I believe he acknowledges it. But sometimes he doesn't pay that much attention because he's like, like, I don't want to get angry, But yeah, and yeah, then the connection, we have the death card, so something is changing, and then we have, the Knight of Swords. So definitely these are very complex times for them, for both of them. The Knight of Swords is sort of asking them to put an end to certain things about their dynamic and, just get together and start being more brave together. Like, I think that they have the potential to make a major change for the group. But this is something that they have to decide together. It's not just one going to, to complain or ask something. It has to do between the both of them. Because there are some things that are changing and they need to be brave. They need to have some serious conversations about something. Because I sense that the energy is a bit heavy, like they are tired. And also with the card here, the advice is harmonize. So there's something about them also like becoming a bit more, like having more deep conversations, like heart-to-heart conversations. Like, okay, I feel like they know what's going on. Somehow, even if the other is not being 100% clear with what they're saying, there's something about a truth coming out. I don't know if it's about the group, it's about them, but they need to decide what they're going to do with this information that they have. And I believe that it involves the two of them. And it's about them becoming more brave and going towards someone and maybe being like, okay, yeah, we want to have a conversation with so-and-so about our future. But they have to harmonize. They have to bring harmony to this connection because they are very separated. They are both like very immersed in their own things. Like each one of them is focused on their own things, their own responsibilities that they have a lot, because Ten has a lot of responsibilities and Kun has a lot of responsibilities. So they are both like, looking at their path. But in this, with the card of harmonize, there's something about them like coming together and being like, okay, we have to bring harmony to this group, to us. And we have to work together towards a solution. Because a change is coming. And they have to get ready, they have to be brave. Yeah, definitely 10, poor 10s. He's like, wow. Yeah, business partners. Yeah, they're business partners. Okay, I'm going to pull cards for I'm back. I don't know why I got disconnected. Okay, I'm going to pull cards for Taemin to see how he's dealing with this. I know that he's getting criticism for his comeback, the concept, or just people being annoying. But yeah, let's see how he's doing. Actually, I was reviewing before doing this. I was reviewing the Taemin solo reading that I did 2 months ago, and yeah, he got cards that he would, he has the respect of a lot of people, so netizens can say whatever, or whoever wants to speak bad about him. Okay, for Taemin, we have the Hangman, eight of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, it's beautiful, Knight of Wands, and 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, he's going to do great. He's going to be okay, guys. And in this card is channeling. Yeah, he had the 2 of Cups in the middle of the reading. Definitely, Taemin is feeling the love. Taemin is feeling the love, and also he's feeling very prosperous. Like there's a lot of cool things for him that maybe he had prepared for the fans in this comeback. So yeah, like honestly, like we start with the Hangman. So I think that for Taemin, being like the Hangman at the beginning of all this, he's like, I cannot fight people's criticism. So what can I do best that I know? Keep on practicing. Keep on working on the details of what I want to do, on how I want to deliver it. Keep practicing, keep putting the best in the details. He's a very detail-oriented artist. Everything is honest. He is very passionate. He got the 2 of Cups in the middle of the ring, so he's very passionate about this comeback. So for him, it's like reconnecting with passion again, reconnecting with who he is as an artist. So honestly, like, then he has the Knight of Wands and the 10 of Pentacles. So there's a lot of recognition coming for Taemin very soon. Like a lot of like I don't know if he's going to do well in the sales or in the charts, or I don't know, maybe the fans are preparing something for him, but definitely I see a very prosperous future when it comes to this comeback. And about criticism, he really is not affected at all. He's not affected at all because he had put everything of himself in this. So it's like, this is me, showing you my art. So if you don't appreciate it, okay, I get it. But, he is like, there's something about Taemin being like this exclusive artist even, because he has already his whole journey, and the guy keeps on the journey. He keeps on this journey of being a better self. So, he's always focused to be better. So in this case, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't affect him. And then, yeah, with the card of channel or channeling, I think that yeah, like, there's something when I think about channeling. In the case of Taemin, I think that when he is in artist mode, he sort of like channels an alter ego, like another part of himself. It's like the human Taemin, like the person Taemin, is not there. Like he becomes someone else. He becomes like this artist energy. He is in his artist, persona. He's sort of channeling that energy. The sensitive Taemin is elsewhere. He lives it out. He lives it for his closest people. But when he's on stage or when he's performing or when he's creating, he's sort of channeling this alter ego, this very, passionate and risky artist. It's like he's very confident. He's very passionate about this. So yeah. And he's going to do very well because he had the 10 of Pentacles. So I hope he gets paid very well. Like, I see money. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the live here and I'm going to come back in 5 minutes so we can start with how do they flirt for and hypen. So I'm going to separate it in a different live stream. So yeah, guys, I will be right back in 5 minutes.